Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Antonio, back with another video today. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. It's a pretty good day, favorite day of the week, of course, Friday. Remember how they used to say Sega back in the day? Sega. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today is about systems and processes. What type of skill sets do you have? How do people learn different skill sets, different trades? We have love languages, but what about people's learn languages? We have all different types of teachers that we come in contact with throughout this life, whether good or bad, young or old. I happen to believe that sometimes it's not always the parent that teaches the child. Sometimes, like in my case, it is the children that teach the parent. Different types of generational karmas and curses and things like that we all have to deal with. Sometimes you just have to separate yourself. The best thing to do is to learn yourself, learn your triggers, learn your strengths. But there's a different way to do different things. Everything doesn't have to be set in stone. There's more than one way to skin a cat, should they say. The slaves used every part of a pig to eat. They had to use what they had to get what they want in a sort of way. But the more you know, the more you can get what you want. So what types of ways do people experiment, or how do people learn? Well, when they send kids to elementary school, it's usually a bunch of kids, that's in one class for that entire day. They're trying to hone these young children, from what ages, from the ages of 4 to 8, 9 years old. They have all these kids in one room for the entire day in the elementary school, and they're all focused on, different subjects or what have you. And then when you get to middle school, they give kids free will and a little bit of free range to run through the school and things like that, and go from class to class, from teacher to teacher. Each teacher teach different types of subjects and things like that. And then of course, high school and college, you're just in a bigger campus. We have the mailman out here. We have the dude backing out of his house about to hit me with his truck. It's like, bro, are you that? Cars everywhere, just people everywhere. But you try not to get distracted. You know me, I have tunnel vision. But it's all, that's basically how they teach you. So did I go over it? Did I go over high school and college? How you go out and you have more free range and free will to go across campus and things like that, to go to different classes and learn different subjects from different professors. So there's different ways of learning as well, different types of sub-programming, different ways of doing things. So different learning techniques, different learning processes, different systems. Certain people outside of school, it doesn't take you going to school to learn these different systems and processes, as long as they're taught to you in a safe and efficient way. You can throw 100 things up against the wall and see how it works, or you can just focus your time and energy and effort on one thing, trying to master one skill as an adult. That's what they call them in college, for per se, your major or in things like that, or your minor. These are specific particular areas that you focused on, regardless of all the other things that you learned over time, which ultimately contributes, learning how to read and write contributes to, learning how to do calculus and things like that, or learning finance and economics and things like that. English, to learn different types of governmental policies and things like that. So there's different ways to learn different things, different techniques. Some people just throw like a lot of jobs. They try to train you try to give you like a 2-week training, and they throw a bunch of stuff at you, hoping that you retain a lot of this information, and then they just send you out onto the production floor and hope that you flourish, which is what usually happens in call centers, predominantly jobs that black women work. So inadequate training, but then you expect these people to get on, get in your corporation and perform to the highest task, and you haven't paid them enough, you haven't been considerate or kind enough to provide a safe environment for these people. I mean, when you have to walk into a job and you have to walk into a metal detector in that job, and which is supposed to be one of the richest cities in your state, there's an issue. But and then some people take learning to a different route or to a different extreme. Instead of having to just constantly experience and learn different things, and have different things thrown at them, or just themselves bombarding themselves with information all the time. There's different people that can just coast. I don't have to read 20 books a week. Let me just read one book a week, make sure I soak in the information, and then I'm retaining it. If I'm an artist, I don't have to draw, paint, sew, craft, all these different things, sculpt at once. Pick one thing out of being an artist, like a writer or something like that, or an editor. They even separate these different categories. You have different kinds of writers and things like that, drafters, editors, authors. These different these different labels, these different categories, these different titles. Again, words. Once you start name calling and labeling things, you definitely have to take into account things you say. People have to get in the habit of researching these words, the original meaning and the root word, the root meanings of these words, so that they're not triggered so much. But it comes second nature over time. You start to learn these things like you learn the back of your hand. All it takes is a few months of research, a few months of doing, setting aside a small portion of your lifetime to learn the secret symbols and hidden meanings and images behind these things. There is a higher power amongst the people. If the people just take the time to pay attention to these things, there's a reason why it was against the law for certain groups of people to read and write. They would even get caught and killed if they caught you reading or writing, or if they even caught them communicating and communing with each other. That's why certain groups have such a hard time communing and communicating with each other and taking criticism from each other, because you weren't even allowed to walk on the same side of the street. They saw 2-3 of you guys walking down the street. They would assume conspiracy, things like that. What are these Negroes doing? Why are they in a group? Similar to the witch trials, when they wanted to call out, witches for no reason at all, simply for telling campfire stories, sitting around a campfire and drinking tea and roasting marshmallows. People were killed. But, we'll learn about these things more and more as people become more and more aware. Information due to the internet is becoming more and more vast. It's being shared amongst everyone. The older folks that has not been able to assimilate technology, of course they're going to die off anyways. People that don't take the time to learn technology and the internet and simple things like learning how to type and do technology. There's levels to this stuff. Just take the time to educate yourself, take the time to grow with time, and that's basically it, man. Learn the language. Language is the ultimate communicator. We talk about all these different psychological issues is because people can't communicate. communicate. And the more languages you know, or the more ways you learn to communicate, whether it's through art, through music, through the tongue, whatever way of expressing yourself to get out that extra mental or psychological energy that people develop, it's not only good energy there, there's bad energy there as well. So we have to learn how to coexist with it. Balance yourself. But yeah, that's all I wanted to, again, there goes me again, wrapping up again. I wrap up like 2-3 times in every video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my rant for today. You guys know I love to talk crap for you guys for a long time. But be safe. Love you folks. Have a good one.